afternoon here.
How you doing?
Good, and you?
Good. I'm good. It's early here. It's like just after 6, but thank you for doing this.
Yeah, I checked the conversion and I was wondering when you were about to, how do you say it, wake up?
Yeah, to respond. I sent you that email last night right before I went to bed, and then as I woke up, I saw, okay, cool, he responded. Let's do it.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't check my spam emails so much in the last week.
Did you you're in Belgium?
Yeah, indeed.
When do you come out?
I'm not this Monday, but the Monday after, so in about 10 days ish.
Okay. And last year you were a rookie, right?
Yeah,
And you're really tall, right? You're a big guy. I remember meeting you.
I'm 1 meter 90. I don't know what's this, 6'2" and a bit or
Okay.
something.
Yeah, that's so whenever you're at an event, you're much taller than all the other competitors.
Yeah, it's you see it more in person than in the videos, because on the videos it's more like leveled, but then in person the gap is like more significant.
Whenever I've been with people who've met Rich or Matt Fraser for the first time, and people are always surprised at how um, I don't want to say short they are, how not tall they are.
I experienced the same indeed. Like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, exactly. The what'd you do today for training?
This morning, well, it's actually rest day, like an easier day. And
Okay.
morning I met up with a friend of mine who does triathlon, and
Mm,
we meet very early because in Belgium it's not so. The lakes and the rules are a little bit sketchy, so we
okay.
woke up before the lifeguards are there, and we hit the whole session. So it was basically swim run exposure,
Yep.
but we measured the distance a bit wrong, and the swim ended up like big, very long. So
How'd
it
that
was
feel?
it was fun. I liked it. It's yeah, I think it's a good preparation. Like train a bit harder, and then when it's game day, you have been in there in the, how do you say, like in the mental grind already.
Yep. Did you have a background swimming growing up?
No, I didn't swim really as a sport, but in high school I did. I don't know if it exists in America, but it's like a sports school, which
Okay.
you it prepares you like to become a school teacher or something in physical education. But we had like 10 hours of all the sports in a week. So like 2 hours athletics, 2 hours gymnastics, 2 hours of swimming, rhythmic, ball sports, and these things. So I was not a swimmer, but I swam 2 hours a week
Oh
for
wow.
3 years.
So that must have really helped.
So yeah, that's a good foundation, like compared to somebody who never swam before. So, but I don't dare to say I'm a good swimmer because all the people I meet with, they beat me all the time because they are triathletes or swimmers or so. For a CrossFitter, I should be okay.
That program sounds really good. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that in our U.S. system. Um, I've heard of
Yeah,
things like that in the old, like long time ago, but currently we don't have a fitness program like that for youth. But that sounds amazing.
yeah, it's very cool. And they recently reached out if I wanted to introduce CrossFit
Ah,
in the school, but I would like to do it, but I will keep it for after the games because now
yeah.
I'm a little bit focused on the competition.
How long have you been doing CrossFit, and how did you get into it?
I'm started in 2017, and it was just an affiliate that opened up close by. The same affiliate I'm still training at, and a friend yeah, invited me to join a class, and I was at that point I thought I was really fit because I was like national level judoka, and
Oh,
but I got like humbled big time. We yeah, it's a very cool community, very competitive, and yeah, from that moment I just kept showing up and like combining a bit the two. Like I went to CrossFit as a warm up for judo, but in the end, it became very hard. And then I made the transition to CrossFit.
Do you still play around with judo?
No, the moment I started to become a bit more serious, it's like not worth anymore risking an injury or yeah,
Yep.
because you get faster injured in judo than in CrossFit, and it's not worth when you go all in for a sport that you like yeah injure yourself in a side thing.
How many years did you do judo?
About 4 to 15 years. So it was my main sport growing up.
Did you say 14 to 15 years?
Yeah,
Wow, that's amazing.
yeah,
You're like black belt and all of that.
yeah. Black belt, and I was yeah like
National.
multiple times national champ. But like the gap between national champion and going continental, let's say like European, is it's
Yep.
a big gap, and the sacrifices become really big because you
Okay.
need to find sparring partners. And that's also the cool thing about CrossFit. I can do it in my backyard. I don't need anybody like to train with. But in judo, when you want to go like
Yeah.
imagine like games level, but similar to judo, you need to go on training camps every other week and
Yeah.
a lot of time away from home, a lot of money, travel. So yeah,
I've always been a big fan of judo. I think if I was to like write an ideal self-defense program for someone or a training path, I would recommend judo and striking, judo and boxing, because I think judo, it's good for obviously if someone gets in close range, getting them away or getting them off or getting them to the
yeah,
ground. And then obviously striking. People talk about striking not being important in self-defense sometimes, especially it seems like out here in the West because there's such a push for jujitsu. But striking is so common and is like almost the
mhm,
first engagement. So like
yeah,
striking, and then as they close the gap, some judo to get them off and away.
exactly. And that's always when people ask, "Would you beat them in a fight?" Is like, if I survive the first two strikes, then they're mine. But it's yeah, if you can deal the first strike, then you don't have to use judo anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
If they
Okay.
survive it, then your arm is ripped off.
Mental note to self: all the athletes should watch this. Don't mess with you. Don't mess.
No, it's a self-defense sport. I'm not an aggressive guy.
No, no, I know. I know you're not an aggressive guy. That's the whole thing about the martial arts too, is they teach like non-aggression fundamentally. And
Yeah, it's like a huge respect sport, and like if the judge says something, you like bow over, and it's like you give them credit for their call. It's like
well,
CrossFitters can learn something from it.
hopefully, I imagine you do have the same attitude towards the CrossFit judges and the CrossFit. Or no, do you get mad when they give you a no rep?
In the beginning, I got really mad sometimes, but I learned to like temper it a bit. But yeah,
When I looked at your profile. Oh well. First of all, when I looked at your games profile, you finished 10th last year.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's amazing. That's great for a rookie performance to finish top 10. Um, and
Yeah,
I saw the photo you put on your profile was from that Helen
Helena.
like workout we did.
Yeah, I thought
How'd
it
you
was.
you liked it?
Yeah, yeah. Helena,
How'd
the workout.
what was that?
Helena, the workout. You mean?
Mhm.
Or yeah, I liked it. The only thing is with I would have maybe preferred a heavier dumbbell because
Yeah,
at the end I push the run paces. I am a little bit like in the disadvantage of bar muscle up cycling speed.
yeah,
And if when the dumbbell is like a feather, yeah, it's
yeah,
just like riding the line with no reps. And yeah,
yeah.
if it
Did you
was
get no
maybe,
reps on that?
I think I got one or two no reps, just like already ripping the dumbbell back up before it touched the ground. Like I missed like so. It's the risk you have to take to go fast. I think
How'd you finish in the semifinal this year?
this year I took second, which
Okay,
is a two-place improvement. Thank
nice. Are you sponsored by Reebok or are you just wearing a Reebok shirt?
No, I'm sponsored by Reebok. It's like it's actually one of my first sponsors, but like sponsorship grew gradually. Like in the beginning, they gave me some stuff, and
Yeah.
nowadays, like thanks to them, that I can do what I do as a living now since this year. So yeah, I I'm grateful for like long-term relationships with sponsors. It's
Do you
yeah,
train full time?
yeah. Since this year, I train full time.
Okay. Before that, what did you do?
I was an IT consultant, so
Ah,
it's like the complete opposite. Like not physical, all like just mental. But yeah, I was lucky to build down the hours gradually as my like fitness improved a bit. So I went from full time to 80% to 60%, and like this year was like one of the partners of my company, Delaware, said, "Yeah, I don't think you should cut more hours. You should just have to go all in." It's like, yeah, fair, but it's like takes guts to make the step, because yeah, financially it's uncertainty and yeah, all these things. So, but I think I found my new flow and rhythm now, and I really see the benefit of it.
isn't Jean Claude Van Damme from Belgium?
Yeah,
Do you guys have like a big culture of martial arts or something?
no, no, I don't know.
Okay.
Not really. Like judo is a big sport. Like we also have some good boxers, but like wrestling not super big as in America.
Okay.
Um, Other than that, yeah, judo we have some very decent like Olympian judokas. So I
Will
think
you
it's one.
watch will you watch judo in the Olympics?
Yeah, 100%. It's
Okay.
like old friends of mine that compete, so it
Oh, that's
adds
awesome.
extra connection, which
That's
is
really cool. Well, before we go, do you have any questions for me?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I have questions for you. I
Uh-oh.
prepared them actually.
Uh-oh.
Um, Wait, let me pull them up.
It's cold outside, by the way.
So how can I put this? Okay, so like if you program for the games, do you factor in like the when you have certain twists or standards to movements? Do you factor in the impact it has on certain types of athletes? Like imagine um, doing a burpee to target. Like if I have to do a burpee to target versus Colton Mertens,
Yeah.
imagine we are exact same engine, exact strong. Like how do you deal with that? Is that something you think about?
Yeah, it's something we take into consideration. And, even like around pull-up bar heights because of guys like you and Fikowski. And Fikowski's been really vocal about heights in the past and, where we've got it right, where we've got it wrong. And so we do have to take into consideration that stuff. A majority of the time, though, it all kind of a lot of that stuff washes out. Like for example, like when you said 6'2", what did I instantly think about in relation to you? I'm like, oh yeah, you're gonna do probably pretty good at Chad, right? No matter what, like how because you have an advantage there. But then on a lot of other things, there's a natural disadvantage you have because you are so
Mm,
tall. So some of the squat stuff, some of the stuff where you have to take your body through a full range of motion, you're traveling longer than someone like Colton would be. So there might be specific single events where because of the height and the burpee to a bar is a good example where yes you have an advantage, but there's a lot of other places where you don't. Luckily, you're an outlier on the size spectrum. What I mean by that is you're on the tall side and that's not the norm. A majority of the athletes are all within a similar height which is shorter
mhm,
and much shorter than you. And so but there will always be outliers. There always is going to be some guys that are taller and there's always going to be some guys that are shorter. And for the
Mm.
guys that are taller, there's some stuff that's an advantage to them, and there's a lot of other things that are at a disadvantage. For the guys that are shorter, same thing. There's some stuff that are advantageous to them, and some stuff that are they're at a disadvantage. But then for everyone else in the middle, it kind of evens out. So you can't make them all like. And to that point, there's like an argument. Well, should the and we did this in the open once, should the burpee target, to your example again, be at a certain height over the individual? Yes, in some examples, but I think in the games examples, so let's say we did make a burpee 6 inches above all the competitors. Well, then it really favors the short guy because the short guy is so much closer to the ground and has such less distance to travel. Where
Yeah.
you, even though it's still 6 inches, you're so tall that you have a really long distance to travel.
Mhm. We
So
did one year with a line though, and then Fikosiku would just like do like this, and Colton Mertens has had to jump.
well, yeah, again, good point. And but still, and then I would say even in that, like, yes, Colton is very much at a disadvantage on that relative, and maybe not too much of a disadvantage. And I say that only because someone like Colton can cycle burpees so much faster than everyone else, you know.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
um,
but I
I
just
view
feel
those
like
we view those things kind of as like fixed work, a fixed task that everyone has to accomplish, or a wall. A wall is a great example. Going up and over a wall, that's a fixed task. We're not gonna accommodate different heights with it. It is what it is. Something you might see in real life. Everyone has to get over it. Taller guys might get over it with a little more ease than a shorter guy.
yeah, but I think that's one of the reasons. Like you say, you do CrossFit for a long time, and now you come in and you're tenth. But I'm like, for me, the hardest part is getting to the games. I have the feeling
Yeah.
because, like in the earlier stages, than being a smaller athlete, you have an advantage. But like, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And that once at the games, like there are certain people that get to the games, but then they will maybe never go into the top 20 because yeah, I don't know, then height is a bigger factor.
Well, I don't know about like you look at Matt and Rich. Like Matt's pretty short. Matt's like, 5'6". Rich is probably 5'7", maybe 5'8". I don't think he's 5'8". We've had a lot of guys who are not tall do really well. And I would say the average height of a champs is probably, if you took all the years, 5'10" or so. There's definitely a point where being too tall, I think, puts you at a disadvantage. And it has to do with just moving and cycling your body over a set range of motion.
Okay, I have another question I have to quickly ask before my time cap hits.
Go ahead.
um it's a question that's in my mind for the whole year since last year. It's how did the selection of the rookie of the year process go last year?
Um, I
Like,
honestly, I was like, that was one of the like, I couldn't tell you. There was a team who was selecting, and at that point, like, I was not really. I know it's controversial. Were you part of the controversy around that?
yeah, I'm going to give more details because it's the first, maybe before it was different, but like in as how I viewed it, it was the first year you went from like two rookies of the year, a male and a female, to
I don't know
what
what you just did. I didn't do that.
to one rookie of the year, and then if you like, I don't know how you combine like a female and a male leaderboard, but then if you look like to it objectively, you take the third in the leaderboard because
The
Olivia
call
was
for one was definitely. I remember making that call. I definitely said, "Hey, let's just have one this year." And I think they said the year before they had two. The year before, I'm pretty sure we've always only had one up until maybe that year before. This year, I definitely said one. It sounds like that might have. I apologize for that, or last year.
no, it is what it is. I just
But I
when
don't. I don't remember. I don't remember the selection process. There's a committee or a little team of people who work on all those awards, and they'll run them by me, and I'll just kind of like sign off and approve. But I wasn't too like in the numbers, and so I apologize.
no worries. No, at least I know it was not you.
uh,
I have one shorter question.
okay.
Why did we have to fill out the quad sizes in a questionnaire of the CrossFit Games?
I don't know. Where was that from?
I think we had to fill out like some.
Is it from us?
Yeah, in the Google Forms.
I'll
Does it
ask.
has
I don't know.
something to do with equipment for a certain event?
I don't know. It might have to do with collection of data for some sort of, I don't want to say study, but some sort of comparison. Let me look into that. I had heard that somewhere else and I thought it was a joke. Um, Let me find out from our team why we asked. Honestly, like maybe a sponsor requested it for, I don't know, compression sizes. I don't know, but let me look into it. Thank you for asking.
Okay, yeah. I think it was optional and I didn't fill it out, but now I start to think about it. Damn, maybe it's for something and I will not have my size.
I'm going to
So,
send a note right now and figure the answer out to that.
okay, thank you.
Well, that was a lot of fun. Thanks for chatting.
Yeah,
And I'll see you in a few weeks at Texas.
thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you. Bye.